Mark had always loved unearthing obscure relics of forgotten media, so when he came across a dusty VHS tape at a thrift store, he couldn't resist. Its label was faded, nearly illegible, with a crude drawing scrawled in thick black marker, a cheerful cartoon sun with an unsettlingly wide grin. Beneath it were the words. Mark recognized it vaguely, a local kids show from the 90s. The kind you'd catch on public access TV, cheap and cheerful. Nostalgia and curiosity tugged at him as he slid the tape into his old VCR. The screen flickered, the static settling into the opening theme. The cheerful jingle played, but it sounded slightly off, distorted, like it had been stretched or warped. Sonny, the smiling cartoon sun, beamed on the screen, waving his stubby arms. His voice crackled as he said, "Hello friends, it's time for the background was stark white. The usual bright landscapes replaced by an eerie, featureless void." Sonny was alone. No Benny the Cloud, no Winky the Star, no Dottie the Moon. His black eyes seemed to stare directly at Mark, unblinking. "Let's play a game." The screen flickered, and strange pictograms began to appear, a stick figure standing next to a tall triangle. Beneath the triangle, jagged lines squirmed like static. Each image lingered for a moment before being replaced by something more unsettling. A crude drawing of a face with hollow eyes, an arrow pointing into a black circle, a spiral that seemed to twist deeper the longer Mark looked at it. "What do you see?" Sonny's distorted voice asked, his grin now splitting his face. The scene shifted abruptly to Winky the Star, but Winky wasn't cheerful anymore. He lay crumpled in a heap, his face frozen in a silent scream, the cartoon lines of his body blurred and smeared. "Don't worry, he'll be back, when you understand." The episode spiraled further into chaos. Benny the Cloud wept black tears that ran down his face like tar pooling at his feet. Dottie the Moon warped grotesquely, her crescent shape splitting into jagged shards. They didn't speak, just stared into the camera, their eyes hollow voids. Sonny returned, now larger, his face dominating the screen. His voice echoed, layered with whispers. "The signal is calling, tune in!" The pictograms flashed again, faster now. A stick figure appeared inside the black triangle, its limbs bending at impossible angles. Red arrows pointed down into the jagged lines below. A distorted hum grew louder, vibrating through the room. Mark tried to turn off the VCR, but the remote wouldn't respond. The buttons on the player were unresponsive too. The screen grew darker, the pictograms more erratic. Sonny's voice returned, low and menacing. "Don't stop watching, you're part of the signal now." The screen cut to black, and for a moment, Mark thought it was over. But then Sonny's face reappeared, his grin stretching impossibly wide, his eyes now empty black holes. He reached forward, his stubby arms extending toward the screen as if trying to break through. The final message flashed on the screen in jagged, blood-red text. "Follow the signal." The static roared, the room grew cold and Mark's vision blurred. The walls seemed to melt into white nothingness, just like Sonny's void. Somewhere in the distance, Mark heard the distorted whispers of Sonny's friends. "Join us. Tune in. Forever." As the TV screen crackled one last time, Sonny's grinning face was the last thing Mark saw before the signal claimed him.